Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. On today's show, MicroStrategy changes name to Strategy, cuts the micro, but also records a $670 million net loss in quarter four. Also, Trump's crypto czar says BTC is excellent store of value and a Bitcoin reserve is one of their top priorities. I've got more about this story today. Also on today's show, Bitcoin price action, why the next 30 days could be a game changer for the market. And our feature story of today, BlackRock to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF in Europe. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is February 5th, 2025, and Bitcoin is a little bit in the red today, and I can't go on with a regular show anymore without talking a little bit about the U.S. presidency and all the new things that are happening in the States. President Trump's got the Democrats folded inside now. Dems don't know what to complain about again. There's so many things, and he's got them on the run effectively. He's creating so many new policies that the Dems are, one day they're complaining about this, the next day they're complaining about the next, and in fact they've already forgotten about yesterday because today is a different complaint. So it's pretty funny to see what's going on, and all this also affects the Bitcoin and crypto market. Certainly we've got some stories today that 100% will affect the crypto and Bitcoin. So let's get right into our market watch and our Bitcoin technical analysis. We have Bitcoin about sideways, losing 0.5% right now from in the past 24 hours at 97,000. It's definitely down a little bit today. Ethereum up 2.5% at 27.95. Solana down 3% at $200. Even XRP down 4% at $2.40. Doge down a little bit here, 2% at 25 cents. SHIB up 0.5% at 0.00000, 4 zeros and a 16. Ethereum Classic down. It's about a mixed bag. SUI's down 8%, so it really depends on specifically what you're looking at. Let's move into the crypto bubble so we can get a clearer perspective of what's actually happening. And for today, we have Hex up 20%. The Trump coin pushing back against its big losses earlier in the week, up 6%. Ultima up 5%. Everything's kind of sideways, up 5%, down 5%, pretty much sideways. Jasmy down 2.5%, Ethereum down 2.5%, Solana down 3%. So that's kind of the mixed bag that we're getting today. Zooming out to the week, we have only a couple coins. Ultima up 19%, Dex up 23%, OM up 22%, Zout, whatever that is, up 5.5%, and everything else pretty much bleeding red, and a lot of them up over 20%. Pepe 20% loss, Near Protocol 27%, Pengu 21%, WIF 33%, Virtual 30%, Ethereum Classic 20%. What you don't notice in here are, the big players, right? Well, we do have XRP in here, 22% down for the week, interestingly enough. But you certainly don't see Bitcoin in here. Bitcoin kind of leads the pack, and the old saying is, when the tide rises, all ships rise, and vice versa. So whatever happens with Bitcoin, the rest of the coins are just followers to that, and generally they follow, but in a more in a bigger range, certainly a more volatile type range. Let's zoom out to the monthly and see what we've got. XCN, the big winner, at up 1,000%, Ultima 111%, and most things again are in the red for the month. You know, Jasmy down 40%, Shiba down 33%, XLM 25%. Looking around here, Pepe down 50%, Gala down 50%, Ethereum Classic 27%, WIF down 60%, Floki down 52%. So quite a bit of red in the past month. Just when things were looking so positive with the new presidency, it's kind of interesting. I'm hoping we see the calm before the storm here. Moving into our crypto market cap, we have Bitcoin at $1.927 trillion as we speak. Ethereum at $337 billion. XRP $139 billion. Solana $97 billion. Doge at $38 billion. Cardano at $26 billion. And Tron at $19 billion. Then it drops off quite a bit. $12 billion for Chainlink. But, you know, the usual big players are Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, which are up over 100 billion or more, and then everything else is, you know, Doge 38 billion is the next guy after that. And in the total market cap, we've lost a little bit for sure. Right now, the total market cap for crypto is 3.14 trillion. We have Bitcoin at 61.3% dominance. Ethereum down again at 10.7% dominance. XRP at 4.5%, Solana at 3%, and currently in our crypto fear and greed index, we are a 49 in neutral. Yesterday was a 54 in neutral, and last week was a 70 in greed. Going into our Bitcoin halving countdown, we have approximately 1,100 days left until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028. There's 168,516 blocks left to mine until that time, and until the time when the last block is mined in the year 2140, we have 1,179,738 blocks left to mine. Total market cap by company. We have gold included as commodities. This is a total list of companies and commodities at 19.3 trillion. Apple number 2 at 3.492 trillion. Microsoft 3.072 trillion. Nvidia just behind them, 3.057 trillion. Amazon 2.5 trillion. Google Alphabet 2.3 trillion. Bitcoin, 1.922 trillion. Silver, 1.848 trillion. Saudi Aramco, the oil company, at 1.78 trillion. Facebook, 1.78 trillion. Only 20 million behind Saudi Aramco right now. And then way down as Tesla. Far behind Facebook right now. They're at 1.2 trillion, but the next company after them also is, 200 billion below them, Broadcom. And currently you can get 1,022 satoshis for one fiat US dollar. And the debt clock from yesterday is up approximately 4 billion. It seems to be very consistent, up 4 billion every single day, folks. Right now, U.S. national debt, 36 trillion, 443 billion, 283 million. That equals to, this has actually gone up, 107,117 per citizen, and per taxpayer it's $323,046. So some big news coming out of the markets today. We have one of our favorite companies and our favorite CEOs seems to have made a directional change, and there's a lot of buzz and a lot of fun being made about it. So MicroStrategy has now dropped the word micro from their company, and now they're just called Strategy, and I'll show you the logo a little bit lower here. But this, along with their Q4 earnings from last year, which sucked it up. Let's go through the article. Strategies, now they're just going to refer to it as strategy, so let's not confuse it with a strategy, but that's how they're going to be referred to from now on. It looks like Strategy's fourth quarter loss came as it stacked another 218,887 Bitcoin, its most aggressive quarter yet. Bitcoin stacking firm Strategy, which has just rebranded from MicroStrategy, reported a net loss of $670 million for the fourth quarter as the firm stacked an additional 218, almost 219,000 Bitcoin. On February 5th, Strategy reported $127 million in revenue in the fourth quarter, marking a 3 year-on-year fall that missed analyst estimates by about $2 million. The firm's expenses for Q4 rose nearly 700% year-over-year to $1.1 billion as it started executing its 21 for 21 plan, targeting $42 billion in capital over the next 3 years, splitting equity and fixed income securities to buy more Bitcoin. Strategy said it has already completed $20 billion of that $42 billion capital plan. It's only been a week or two. Jeez. Fueling its Bitcoin buying spree largely through senior convertible notes and debt. Strategy CEO and President Phong Le said the firm is already significantly ahead of its initial timeline and is well positioned to further enhance shareholders' value by leveraging the strong support from institutional and retail investors for our strategic plan. The company's Bitcoin holding now sit at 471,107 Bitcoin, worth over $45 billion, the largest of any corporation in the world. So here we see the new logo. It's just Strategy Bitcoin, or Strategy B might be a better way to put it, but effectively very basic with a B kind of as a, like strategy squared as an exponent, but Strategy B. Okay, not bad. They're making fun on the web, why do they get rid of the micro? And of course the, penis jokes came in, and they want to distance themselves at some point. The Facebook was rebranded Facebook, so they're saying, hey, these guys are trying to make a similar move to that. A few jokes going around, but ultimately, look, their strategy is Bitcoin, and it's not a micro strategy, is it? Now, I did like the micro part because effectively it is started as a software development company, and I think they still develop software, but I suppose they're doing so much more business and making so much money in Bitcoin that maybe that's gone on the wayside. So now instead they just want to focus on strategy, B, Strategy Bitcoin. Interesting. I think the MicroStrategy was a little more unique and well known around the world already. So to me, it's like, if I'm Walmart, okay, maybe it's a crappy name, but I'm never going to change it. So anyhow, Strategy's BTC yield, a KPI representing the percentage change ratio between its Bitcoin and its assumed diluted shares outstanding, reached 74.3% in 2024, but the firm is lowering its target to 15% for 2025. Effectively, they came in with a loss last quarter of last year. Net loss of 670 million, which is really surprising. But clearly it's because they stacked another 218,000 Bitcoin. So I think that's kind of the direction that this article is going. Effectively, they lost a few bucks. The stock didn't really tank that much, which again is a little surprising. They're a lot more than, just a strategy. And they are saying that they've already raised 20 billion of their 42 billion capital plan so they can buy more Bitcoin. So I think it's headed on a good trajectory once again. You can't go wrong with almost anything that Michael Saylor guy does. It's like hands of gold, and I'm sure at some point when we go into quarter one of 2025, I'm sure he's made big cash. So getting into our next story for today, we touched about it yesterday, touched on it, and we're talking about the US earlier, and let's get back on that topic with the crypto czar says Bitcoin is an excellent store of value and that Bitcoin is a top priority for them. David Sachs, who was named Donald Trump, the crypto czar and AI czar, says the evaluating the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve is one of the top priorities of his working group. So let's hope we get some news with that. And a follow-up interview with CNBC, Sachs and the Bitcoin said the Bitcoin is an excellent store of value due to its track record. And here's a bit of a video from yesterday, which we've already gone over. Demand from central banks and sovereign wealth funds could create a Bitcoin supply shock. This is the part that I really wanted to focus on here. The U.S. is not the first country to explore Bitcoin as a reserve, as the concept is currently being discussed by several central banks and sovereign wealth funds. El Salvador has already started purchasing Bitcoin, and the governor of Czech Central Bank has proposed that up to 5% of its reserves should be invested in Bitcoin. If multiple countries do start accumulating Bitcoin, get ready for it, the effect on the Bitcoin price could be profound due to a supply shock, caused by Bitcoin's limited supply. Limited supply. Recently, researchers suggested that the price of Bitcoin could reach $1 million as early as 2027 if there is strong enough institutional demand. The algorithmic Bitcoin price prediction on CoinDex is more conservative, but is still very bullish as it forecasts Bitcoin to surpass 1 million by 2040. And then we've got, Cathie Wood, who's bear scenario by 2038, I think it's 3.5 million. And then, of course, we've got Max Kaiser, whose prediction for this year is 2.2 million. We've got Michael Saylor, who's predicting into the many, many millions by the same 2040 mark. And I'm also predicting something similar, especially if this comes to fruition and these sovereign wealth funds start battling it out for the Bitcoin. There's going to become this big supply shock. There's going to be none left for any of these countries, and they'll start paying anything for your Bitcoin. So this is why the old saying is never sell your Bitcoin. The number one rule in Bitcoin, never sell your Bitcoin. Even Trump said it in Nashville. So never sell your Bitcoin, at least for now. We have to really see what's going to happen with all these sovereign wealth funds. We've got to give it this 6 months that, Trump has talked about. Now, what exactly is going to happen, it's hard to say, but considering these 4-year cycles, it could be that, 6 months brings us into July, so this pump could happen later than our traditional halving cycles, or it could pump for a short amount of time and then drop, or it could just continue to pump based on this Bitcoin reserve if it gets started. Now, what'll be also interesting is if another country like the Czech, for example, comes out and says, yes, we've approved our Bitcoin reserve and we're starting to buy. Then it's a catch-up game for even the states, right? Then they're not first anymore. El Salvador really is first, but they're a small country and they've got a small, I'm not sure how many Bitcoins they have, but I think it's in the very low thousands or hundreds. But they buy, I think it's like 1 Bitcoin or 3 Bitcoin a day. And then, the states would buy like 10,000 a day, kind of more on the par with BlackRock or even more so. Before even that, we want to think a little more short term, and our next article has some insight on that and the Bitcoin price action, why the next 30 days could be a game changer for the market. Let's get right into it. Crypto analyst CryptoCon has provided valuable insight into the Bitcoin price action in this cycle. Based on his analysis, the next 30 days could be a game changer, with BTC set to witness a significant move to the upside. In an X post, CryptoCon predicted that the Bitcoin price could rally as high as 160,000 in the next 30 days. This would be a game changer for the market, especially considering the bearish sentiment in the crypto market at the moment. The analyst noted that Bitcoin has spent about 583 days ranging in this cycle. Yep. On the other hand, the analyst remarked that Bitcoin price has spent just 175 days making meaningful price action to the upside. In line with this, he alluded to how patience is key, considering how Bitcoin ranges for most of the cycle. However, CryptoCon is convinced that the next 30-day sprint of great price action that the market is about to witness is worth the wait. And hopefully you guys have all been hodling and waiting. I know I have, and I would recommend it's going up forever, Laura, as the saying goes. Certainly hodling for the end of the cycle or toward the peak of the cycle is 100% the way to go. If you need to pull some money out for whatever reason, sure, if you need the money, pull it out. If you don't need the money, just hodl and don't try and time the markets. Just keep going through all the cycles. Hold on for 8-10 years. Everyone who has hodled throughout these cycles has made money. The analyst accompanying chart showed that Bitcoin price could record up to 37 days of expansion on this next big leg up. The chart also showed that the flagship crypto rally to as high as 160,000. In March, following this upward trend, this is bullish for the broader crypto market, as altcoins are also expected to rally as Bitcoin moves to the upside. Like I was saying, the ship rises and they all follow the tide. Before now, CryptoCon had already assured that the bull cycle wasn't over, despite the crypto market facing the largest liquidation event in this cycle, with over $2 billion wiped out from the market. Don't buy futures and short Bitcoin. Use your own money, folks. If you don't have it, don't put things on credit. BTC's trend remains uncertain for now. While the Bitcoin price could rally 260,000 in the next 30 days, crypto analyst Ali Martinez stated that the Bitcoin's trend direction is, in the short term, remains uncertain. He noted that the flagship crypto is consolidating between 90 and 108,000. The analyst added that the trend remains uncertain until there is a clear breakout beyond this range. However, crypto analyst Kevin Capital suggested that the Bitcoin price could soon record a massive bounce as high as 111,000, marking a new all-time high for the flagship crypto. He noted that all the major liquidity on a monthly heat map is to the upside toward this 111 price cycle. The analyst added that this cannot be ignored, especially after a massive capitulation. He further remarked that he would be shocked if BTC didn't grab this liquidity and head lower. So everybody's calling for a bull run here. The month of February has traditionally been a bullish month for Bitcoin, so I don't expect anything different. We're only on day 5, February 5th here. There's a lot of turmoil. There was all this tariff stuff. Everybody's spooked. I'm not surprised if a lot of people are just holding back on their cash, on their purchases, and waiting to see what happens. Certainly now might be a good time to buy the dip or start to average in slowly and have your money waiting to buy that dip, so you're agile and you can make a move when it's time. I would kind of go that route. I would definitely not be selling my Bitcoin right now. I wouldn't. I'm not even thinking about it. Not until probably September, October, personally. And I follow the cycles very closely, and that's kind of what I go on, is the historical charts. So we can show a bit of that getting into before we get into our final story. So what I do, and I suggest you guys do the same for your own sanity, is I use the TradingView app, and then you can make adjustments to the app over here. You can create whatever you want. You know, I've got like vertical lines, so I've gone through and found the historical halving points. So we've got, you know, Saturday, December 12th, December 2012, July 2016, May 2020, April 2024. So I've added in these vertical lines as close as I could. You know, you can zoom right into this thing and get pretty close to the dates of the halving. Then I went through and used the Fibonacci, which you can also, oops, it's still sitting on that. So once you create this Fibonacci, which again you can grab from up here, these different patterns, and I use the Fib, which is one of these here, and I took the halving price, and then I took the cycle peak price, and I drew this line. So once you click it over here, you can see it went from 2,700 to 14,000. Then, you know, the first halving went from 150 bucks to almost $3,000. The third halving went from 7,400 to 62,000, which isn't even correct. It's actually 69,000. I probably didn't zoom in enough to get it really accurate. And so then I made my own prediction. I also wrote down what had happened previously. I took the 2875 divided by 150. I got 19x, so it went up 19 times. You know, you multiply 150 by 19, you get 29. And then I did the same for this halving event, and I got an 8x. The next halving event, I got a 7x. So it seems like it's getting less and less volatile. So my prediction is that by this time, which is October of 2025, and we see that in most situations, see the first halving, November 2013, the year after the halving in November was the peak. The second halving, December of the year after the halving was the peak. The third halving, October of the following year after the halving, 2021, was the peak. So I also went to October, and I have two scenarios here. One is if it only goes up 3.5%, let's say, because it's going up less and less each halving, it seems, then at 3.5%, the price should, from the halving date price, which started at 60,992 until, and then 3.5 times of that, you end up with 220. And then I also considered, okay, what if it actually goes up 6x, because we're going, look, 8, 7, let's say 6x, and we've got a price of 378,000. So play around with these charts. You can, again, create your own. This is all free. You can do it online. You can download the app as well. I kind of like the app. For free, you can only save one scenario. You can obviously keep re-editing and change to whoever you want. And if you became a member, then you could save as many charts as you wanted here with all your drawing on top. But this is a good route, so you're not relying on anybody. You're doing your own research. You're kind of going into historical trends, and you can take this as far as you want and go down this rabbit hole if you really want and narrow it down. But at least you'll have a more precise target and timeline in your own mind, so you can have some kind of comfort and you can be ready. And if it's buying time, well, you'll have your money on the table ready to buy. If you think it's selling time, at least you'll kind of be also prepared for that. Let's move on to our feature story of today. BlackRock to launch a spot Bitcoin exchange traded product in Europe. Of course, they can't call it ETF, but that's really what it is. The world's largest asset manager is set to expand its Bitcoin footprint internationally with a new exchange-traded product in Switzerland. And what a better place to start than there, let me tell you. And here's beautiful Switzerland. If you've never been, it's gorgeous. I've been. Open up your wallet book. It's not cheap, but what you see is what you get. Gorgeous, safe. Even in the summer, you can expect it's not going to be, super hot and sunny. I don't know what's showing in this picture, but yeah, it was. I was there for I think a week. It was sunny only one day, but the hiking was great. The shopping was amazing. The nightlife was fun. The mountains were beautiful. The short time that it was sunny and you saw the peaks here. If you really want to see snow-capped mountains and you're on a lesser budget here in North America, try out Calgary and Banff, Alberta. They have the most sunshine in Canada. I don't know about North America, but apparently there's only 30, it's like 330 days of sunshine a year. And anyway, the entire time I was there, it was sunny, beautiful, snow-capped peaks everywhere, hiking, everything you get in Switzerland, except a hell of a lot cheaper. But Switzerland's also nice, and what is Switzerland's number one GDP product is money. So BlackRock entering the Swiss world here. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with over 11.5 trillion in assets under management, is preparing to launch a spot BTF exchange traded product in Europe, according to a report from Bloomberg. The fund is expected to be based in Switzerland, and BlackRock could begin marketing it as early as this month. Sources familiar with the matter told Bloomberg. Though, at the time of writing, BlackRock representative declined to comment on that matter. They decline every kind of comment, actually, I've noticed. Until it's a scripted comment. That's the only time BlackRock's going to come out and speak. It's like they're mute. This listing would mark yet another step in BlackRock's international expansion of its Bitcoin-related offerings, as the firm has already launched a spot Bitcoin ETF both in Canada and Brazil. BlackRock appears eager to build on the success of its US-based spot Bitcoin ETF, IBIT, which became the greatest ETF launch in history, amassing over $50 billion in assets under management in just its first year of being alive. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, January, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink stated that he is a big believer in Bitcoin and that its price could run up to $700,000 if more asset allocators start buying it, and if there is more fear of currency debasement, political and economic instability. And we know that there is going to be more money debasement and seemingly the economic and political instability. That's still up for grabs. We're going to see what happens with that. But the currency debasement, 1,000%, we're going to continue to see that. And we're going to continue to see more nation states buying Bitcoin. So it is going to be a fun ride over the next little while. This is going to be an interesting year, and hopefully Bitcoin makes a lot of money for a lot of people. Let's see how this plays out. Again, open up TradingView, make your own charts, look at the historical charts, look at the future charts, and have a good gauge of what you want to do. Don't just go into anything blindly. And you can, in that TradingView, you can actually do the same with any chart. It's not just for Bitcoin. It's whatever stock, financial, anything you want, commodities, it's all there. So you can kind of chart out what you want and give yourself a little more financial literacy. That's certainly what this show is intended to do. And remember, everybody, on that topic, that money is everywhere and money is abundant. It is time that's scarce, so spend your time wisely and money will come. Spend less money than what you earn. If you suddenly make more money, save more money, don't spend more money, and start saving and investing when you're young. And by the time you're 40, 45, you should be able to retire. If you have a great idea, even if everybody tells you you're crazy, start that great idea today. Even if you're not ready, things will slowly come together, and everybody's idea is crazy when it first starts, but it slowly comes together for you, and then it's not crazy anymore. It turns out to be brilliant. Hopefully you found this stream enjoyable. If you did, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream, folks.